Welcome, we're ready to begin. All right, so as you bring your hands together, I want you to create some movement in the hands. Start slow. Let your wrists create some movement, flexibility in the wrists in whatever way feels good. It doesn't have to look like the way I'm doing it, but just let your wrists move as you rub your hands together. And then start to increase the speed. Start to feel a little heat in the hands, bring more tension to the hands. And then turning the palms upward, bring the arms out in front, curl the fingers in, create fists, and turn the hands so that the palms are facing down, and bring the arms down next to your sides. We're going to begin by bringing some heat to the hands and feet. Now as we raise the arms, let's raise up onto the pads of the feet. Good, and as we lower the arms, lower down into the heels, but keep clenching those fists. That's the way, rising up as you inhale, keep tension in the arms, tense, tense, tense. And slowly with control, lower down, keep tension in the arms, push the arms back slightly behind the hips, rise up. Good, bringing heat to the hands and the feet, drawing circulation from the heart out to the extremities so we can circulate, create these energy flows and rivers throughout the entire body. A lot of the blood flow likes to hang out in the torso and the internal organs. We want to call that blood out into the arms and the legs. Keep things circulating and healthy. One more time. Bring it up onto the pads of the feet and hold if you can. Certainly if you're not able to balance on the pads of the feet, stay on the heels. And then release the fists, opening the fingers, and let the arms come down. And as the hands come down, feel the heaviness of the earth, drawing the fingers back down and towards the earth. And shake the hands, let the arms get loose. And shake the legs, let the legs get loose. And the shoulders and the hips, just wagging the tail, dog wagging the tail, creating some movement along the spine. And then we'll add a little movement by lifting the leg and bringing the heel to the opposite glute. Looks like this, heel to the glute, bouncing into the knee if that's safe for you. Circulating some energy into the legs. Good. Let the arms just go in the direction that they want to go in naturally based on the momentum that's being created from the lower body. That's the way. And then pause. Pause, pause, pause. Get quiet, close the eyes, take your attention internally and notice what you feel just from that short little burst of energy, warming things up. And we'll take it a little bit further by sliding the foot closest to the flower's back, be on the big toe, and create some ankle circles here, which will also spiral up into the knee and the hip. Reverse direction. And let's add a foot stretch for those who feel comfortable doing this. Put pressure on the top of the foot. Sink into it if that's safe for your leg, your knee, and your foot. And then take that foot and bring it forward. A little kick, like you're kicking sand off your toe. Shift your weight, post it into the leg we were just working. Slide the opposite leg back on the big toe. Think about plugging that big toe into the earth, pushing down, bringing heat to the feet, and circulating here. Either direction to start is fine, and then reverse it. Feeling yourself actually challenge your balance with this as well. Now stop, pause, and stretch the top of the foot. Sink into it a little bit. Feel a nice stretch coming down the top of the foot. Then draw that leg forward like you're kicking sand off your toe, and release. And shift your weight from side to side. Nice. As we shift our weight towards the flower side, we'll call this our flower side. I guess they're both flowers. So this would be the orchid side of the room. As we bring our attention to the flower side of the room, we'll pick up the toes, point them towards the orchid, and then shift our weight in this direction. Pick up the heel of the back foot. Good. And staying with this idea of a warm-up, we're going to rock on the feet and swing the arms. As we do that, our tension is on the sole of the foot, closer to the ball of the foot, and this is called the bubbling spring. And we want to bring attention like we're massaging the bottoms of the feet, not with the hands, but with gravity, and the weight of the body touching the earth and where it's making contact on the sole of the foot. It's creating a little massage and an opening for that portal to allow energy into the body. Do one more on this side, bring it up, and then shift your weight back to the center. And do the same thing, shifting our weight in the position closest to the orchid. Turn the toes. Good, we'll go in this direction. Let the arms swing up and back, up and back. You can do this anytime. You don't have to wait for your Qigong practice to do this. It's a great way to open up the soles of the feet and bring some energy into the arms. Adding the breath, it's an inhale up and an exhale back. That's it. And 2 and 1. Bring the arms up over the head and come back to center. Find your own way to make those transitions. They don't have to look exactly like what I'm doing, but to really be in the flow of your own space, how much room you have, and what your energy level's like. Now, hands are facing forward and up, palms up. We're going to go ahead and bring the hands, back of the hands down, curving the wrists and letting the arms float up like wings, and then pressing down. We'll do that again. Inhale. Now, we want to feel a nice stretch on the wrists as we do this, and exhale. Just a soft stretch for now. Stretching the tendons. Good. We're going to take that stretch into the tendons deeper as we bring the arms up now. Squeeze the fingers together. Bring the thumb to the center of those fingers, creating little hooks. You can feel a nice line of energy stretch. Let's take the ear closest to the orchid towards the shoulder. And we're going to stretch 3 lines of energy along the neck. This would be the side. And as we turn our chin down and towards that orchid side of the room, feel a stretch on the back line of the neck. And then turn and look up. Lift the chin towards the sky. And feel a stretch on the front of the neck on that side. Good, and then bring your head center, release the arms, and roll the shoulders back. Good, arms float like wings, flex, and release. 2 more like that, and then we'll hold. That's it, feeling this nice flowing energy come up, create those hooks. Good, let's go to the other side, ear to shoulder. Nice sideline stretch for the neck. See if you can squeeze those shoulder blades together, open the chest a little bit, and then drop the chin down, looking down towards earth. And then lift the chin up towards sky. And bring the gaze forward, release the arms. So you should feel some energy flowing down the arms now. Imagine that energy dripping off the fingers, pooling up down by the feet. Now bring the hands up in front with soft wrists and down, out to the side and down. And we'll do a gentle flowing motion here with the rhythm of your own breath. We're going to have this theme today of wings, so let your arms feel like wings. Effortless wings, so we're not really forcing anything, we're not struggling or working hard, we're just going with the natural flow that's already keeping us elevated and lifted, and our wings are just moving with the rhythm of our breath. No higher than the breath will take the arms, and letting gravity pull them back towards the body. And we'll begin to slow it down, Bringing our attention to our hands and noticing what we're feeling in the hands. Slower yet. Notice as we slow down the movement, the breath is invited to slow down and stretch out. And as we slow down the respiratory rate, the heart rate relaxes, muscle tension is released, and our internal medicine is being circulated through the body. We'll take a nice scooping energy underneath the navel, across the wrists, and bring the arms up and over. Good. Continue that pattern now, circulating this energy. Sinking into the legs, rising up out of the legs, choosing the position with your feet to either be a little wider than hip width apart or even wider in more of a horse stance, your choice. Let the arms come a little higher if that's safe and comfortable on your shoulders. And then also if it's safe and comfortable on your knees, scoop down a little lower. Still maintaining control of the breath as you make this range of motion bigger. The breath has to stretch out. Longer inhales and longer exhales. Catch a ball, hold it, excuse me, stretch it, and compress it. Inhale, expanding the energy, exhale, condensing. Feel it circulate as you expand, condense as you compress. Now imagine as we're bringing the energy closer to the spine and the center of the body, we're sending it into the bones. So we're deepening that deposit of energy into the body at a deep level for storing it for later, to create a reserve of energy. We want to imagine we have to use our imagination to pack the energy. We could say this is spirit packing the spirit into the body, really calling energy that's out there in here, coming home to ourselves, rising up. Let the arms come out at an angle like wings again, that same kind of idea of stretching out and coming in. In my newsletter, most of you are subscribed to, I talked about the energy and the life cycle of the dragonfly. And there's a form that's been created around this life cycle that involves the elements of water, fire, and air. And so in the 5-element system of Chinese medicine, which Qigong is centered around and integrates, there isn't an air element in and of itself. The elements are metal, water, wood, fire, and earth. And where the air element gets placed is in the fire element, because without air, there's no fire. Now let your arms come around. And we're going to come down like we're smoothing out water. And then reach around and gather that water, pull it up, pull it into the chest, hold. Good. Now we're going to imagine rising up out of the water. Good. And then breaking out breaking the surface. Bring the backs of the hands together. Good. Create a circle. Gather the energy. Pull in and then stretching out the thorax. Stretching out. And pumping that water out into the structure to reach back out in front with wings. And let the arms come down and then take flight. 1, 2, and 3. Good, let's do that again. Come on down. Imagine pulling that energy of flight, of wings down to the earth and grounding it, calming out the waters, gathering, draw fists to the heart, and then pulling up, bring the elbows back, and then reach around, breaking the surface, gathering strength. Good. Let's go back, opening the chest. Good. Now this time as we push forward with the heels of the hands. Stretching out the wings. Good. Gathering the courage to take flight. And then moving up into the light. Let the wings lift, lift, lift. Gather and reach. Good. So this is multi-level, integral form that integrates multiple elements. Smooth the water. So think about the water being emotion, smoothing the emotion, gathering any unprocessed emotion as fuel, pulling in and up, elbows back, reach around, break through the surface, gathering the strength, moving through the thorax, stretching out the body, and pushing out, exposing and expanding the wings, and draw the arms into flight. Now looking up, you catch a glimpse of heaven and you bring that back down to earth and below the earth down into the water. And you share that glimpse of heaven and inspiration with what's below that can't see and recognize. And then we gather strength, rise up, break the surface, gather the strength, stretch the body open, stretch the wings. Good, surrender and fly. So using this metaphor of the dragonfly life cycle of first being a nymph down under the water, finding its way, finding a reed stalk, grabbing on, climbing up, breaking the surface. Good. Gathering the strength to withstand the new environment and pushing out through the wings and surrendering to the new life in the element of air and fire. And why we bring this in at this time, we're close to the solstice. We want to bring in the element of water when we're entering the season of fire to help cool things off so we don't have too much extreme heat. We call in the opposite element, the controlling element for fire is water. of this form on your own. Use your own life experience, metaphors. And know that the associated organs are kidneys, hearts, and lungs. Bringing the wisdom down, planting the seeds, calming the waters, rising. Really get into what feels nice and natural and easy for you with the spreading of the wings and taking flight. Everyone has their own unique flight, unique to their body. Remember, it doesn't have to look like anyone else's, just has to feel good and flow. Slowing it down. Remember the feeling of force as we extend the arms, extend the wings, and then the releasing of force into surrender. Catch that glimpse by gazing up. Imagine what you might be receiving as inspiration to bring back down. Spread out. One more time. Filling yourself up with that energy from heaven, and you bring it all the way down to the feet. And bringing the hands together, down. And we'll bring it down to the navel, the lower dantian, and come over and around, doing our circular motion and our abdominal massage as we move over to the right, up, across the transverse and down, circulating energy around the navel. Really grounding this practice in so that we are taking in the benefits of what we've been weaving into our field. Stretch the arms around to the kidneys, place the hands, palms of the hands on the kidneys, lean into that support. Feel the stretching of the lower dantian. And now hinge forward, keep the back flat, slight bend in the knees, let your hands slide down the back of the legs, reach around tracing earth and then drawing and tracing lines up the inside of the legs, the meridians on the inside of the legs. Backs of the hands come together, up the front, and then chi shower down and around. Get a nice chi shower down and around the body. Now just the backs of the hands coming together, continue the chi shower without taking it all the way to the earth. Let's do that 3 more times. Use the breath to integrate the movements. It's a long, drawn-out inhale up and an exhale down. Stretch that exhale out as long as you can, and we'll do one more. A little bit different change up here as we flow into the next form. Backs of the hands come together. Bring the hands around behind the head, and we'll press out, creating space in our field. Turn the palms up. Bring the arms forward, and we'll have the hand closest to the flower arrangement come on top as we cross the wrists. And then bend the elbows. And the arm that's on top is going to go straight in that same direction. The opposite arm is going to pull back like a bow. Now get your feet positioned in a way that you feel comfortable with horse stance. Remember, the knees, as we sink, they expand out. We don't collapse in. So that will determine how far apart you want your feet. Now from here, as soon as we draw the bow, we have the instinct to look in the direction of the extended arm. We're going to try to keep our energy controlled and stay gazing forward. Lift that elbow, and now gaze at the extended arm. Pull back on the bow, keep pulling back, and extend the opposite arm and gaze in that direction. And then drop both arms and gaze down. Pull energy up the front of the spine, over the head, behind the neck, and again, pull anything off the back of the neck that might feel like gravity or tension or stress or stagnant energy, clearing the back of the neck. Where the head attaches to the skull, there's a tendency to have a collection of stagnant energy. We want to remove that. Draw the arms forward as we did before. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Now cross the arm closest to the orchid on top. And as the hands come in, elbows bend, we extend that top arm. Pull back on the bow. Keep your gaze looking at me. The tendency, yes, we want to look over at the arm that's extended. I know, we can get there, but hold here. Pulling back so the the backs of the shoulders are pitching together. Now look in the direction of the extended arm. Pull back on the bow a little further, and then release it. And then gaze at the arm as it fully extends in the opposite direction, rotating through the neck, and then rotate the gaze down as the arms come down. So we get full rotations in the neck with this. We draw the arms up again. Do a couple more with instruction, and then lead you to this. Practice without instruction. So the hand closest to the flower arrangement coming on top, cross the arms, draw the bow. Keep your gaze at me. Now gaze in the direction of your target. Pull back on the bow. Gaze in the direction as you release the bow. The arm extending, and then draw the gaze down and bring the hands down so you can track the movement of the neck moving through this circular pattern. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Hand closest to the orchid on top. Draw the bow. Target is the orchid. Keep your gaze forward. Shoulder blades back together. Look at your target. Drawing back on the bow and press through as you look. Turning the head and then swinging the head down, swinging the arms down. And we'll do that again without instruction. Just demonstrating. Now bring the hands up all the way around the whole body, tracing all the meridians. Hands behind the head as we did before. This time let them roll in front of the shoulders. Round to the back and down the back of the legs. As you come to the back of the legs, bend the knees so you can sink down and then reach around, gather circles around the feet. And then pull and trace lines of energy up the inside of the legs. Continue to move up the front of the spine, over the head. Let's do that again. Down the back body, tracing the meridians, helps smooth out the energy and gives the energy direction to flow through the body in the way it's designed to. Now let the arms extend, and we're going to trace the meridians in the upper body, the lungs and heart located in the arms. We'll start by scooping under the navel, get to the underside of the arms, sweep under, sweep over, turn the cheek, brush the side of the neck and face, and then let the arm come under and do the same thing on this side. Continue from side to side for another repetition. And then let the hand come up and around, catching a ball of energy. Pull it up to the navel, turn it over, catching a ball of energy. Now scoop it up the spine and down. Stretching this energy along the front of the spine, compressing it down into that lower dantian and then pulling it up. Pressing it down. And we'll turn the hands over so the opposite hand's on top. And again, do the same thing. Notice what you feel in the hands as the hands come closer together. The compression of that energy into the hands should feel some heat, or could feel some heat. Rather than a should, it's a could. Good. Now we're going to bring this up a little bit wider, reaching the arms around, creating circles on either side of the body in the pattern of infinity. Compress and stretch and circulate. Good. Noticing what you would like to or prefer to do with the legs. It's up to you. We can sink into the legs as we compress, lift out of the legs as we extend, expand, stretch, pull and weave the energy around. Down the center of the spine, sink, compress, rise, lift, and spreading those wings again in a little bit different way. We're going to add a little bit more delicacy to this now. We're going to fine tune it as we bring the hands in to the heart now. Pinch your fingers and thumb together at the heart. Imagine you're connecting to a golden thread, a very fine golden thread at the heart. And you're going to draw that thread out of the heart. And it's very delicate, so we move slowly, slowly. Not quite as big of a circle now. Imagine seeing and visually enhancing the feeling of this by seeing that thread and reconnecting it into the heart. Again, as we bring it together, let's rotate the elbows in and towards each other, and then unwind and draw. This is a liver smoothing exercise. Relieving that spring season, that liver energy. Just want to reinforce this golden thread, connecting, winding and unwinding, pulling apart, and stretching. We go back to bigger movements now with the palms, back to where we started. Dipping into those legs if that's comfortable for you. And checking the position of the knees and the ankles so they're aligned so that you can continue this practice for the rest of your life. We want to make sure we're taking care of the knees. I'm going to move this into side body stretches as the bottom hand comes up the front of the spine and the top hand comes down. We're doing something called separating heaven and earth here. The palm is facing heaven above the head, and the opposite palm is pushing down to earth. And now we'll take it to a side bend. So the arm that's overhead is reaching across the opposite side of the room. Stretching the side body, come back to the center. Turn the palms towards each other, sink and compress. And then passing, like two elevators passing, let that bottom hand come up. Heaven rising to earth, earth descending to, earth rising to heaven and heaven descending to earth, and taking it into a nice side bend here and back to center, and repeat on your own. Go back to the center, catching that ball. Good. Let's turn it over so that the hand closest to the flower arrangement is on the bottom and the hand closest to the orchids is on top. And then we will rotate towards the flower arrangement. Good. Turn the ball over, rotate towards the orchids, and continue to shift the weight using lower body momentum. As you shift the weight into the leg closest to the flower arrangement, hands pull across. Good. Now shift the weight in the lower body and let the arms follow. Creating a figure 8 pattern with the hands. And let that figure 8 pattern come from the movement in the feet. So as we shift into this direction, we're shifting into the heel, rounding off the knife edge of the foot, pushing off the big toe, and shifting to the heel on the opposite leg. Rounding and creating that figure 8 pattern in the lower body. As we see that mimicked in the movement of the hands. So as below, so above. As above, so below. Moving slowly. Let your arms get heavy, fall to your side. And now rotating and letting the arms wrap around the body. We're going to do some tapping on the body, some self-massage here. Let your hand that's reaching behind the body tap between the kidneys, the Mingmen point, the door of life. This is called knocking on the door of life. We want to access that Jing energy, life force energy of the kidneys, our vitality, our physical vitality. And let the hand that's in front of the body begin to migrate upward and tap on the lung point right below the collarbone. near the shoulder. So we're tapping on 2 points, kidney and lung again. Let your gaze look as far back as you can, maybe even creating a 360-degree view if that's safe for your neck as you twist. Let that be driven by the big toe plugging into the earth and pushing off the big toe to continue to bring heat to the feet. So as we draw the energy of heat or fire down, which we have a lot of fire lately, a lot of heat, we want to draw it down out of the brain into the feet. Just like trying to circulate energy from your home from upstairs to downstairs. And we want to bring the energy of the cooling waters from below, from the kidneys up into the brain. Now slow down and let your arms come next to your sides, gently and slowly, moving to stillness. Close your eyes if that feels safe for you. Tune into how you're feeling. Let's start by bringing our attention to our hands. Notice what we notice. Our hands are one of the most sensitive areas of our body. Majority of the motor skill capacity in the brain takes up its position in the hands. So we want to bring our attention to our hands and notice what we're noticing. And then as we put attention there, we'll begin to notice more, because where our attention goes, energy flows. So start to allow yourself to feel more in your hands, and you'll feel more by relaxing more. So even where I feel like I'm relaxed, I feel I'm also holding tension. I'm going to invite more relaxation into the hands. And if it helps, you can create a visual and imagine fingers dripping with energy, dripping with all of the stimulation and the energy of life teeming in the body, pooling up in the hands and being so abundant it's overflowing and dripping off the hands into pools of water that your feet are standing in. And imagine drawing the cool waters from below into the soles of the feet, up the legs, up the torso, into the head, cooling off the brain. And let's draw the energy with the arms up, bring our attention up, and let the hands fold in on each other and down the spine as we continue to circulate this energy through the field. Slowly rising up, inhale, look up. Good, just like we were tracing the meridians, giving a direction, now we're tracing the aura, giving the energy that's outside the body direction to move inward through the center of the spine, being distributed to the internal organs from that flow. And we'll do that 2 more times, slowing it down. Remember, the slower we move, the more we feel, and the more strength, flexibility, and balance we gain from moving slowly. Now, as the hands come down to the earth, we're going to do something called pressing earth. Pressing earth with the hands, you can create a diamond shape with the index fingers touching and the thumbs touching. You can always bend your knees here if you need to be able to touch the floor to do that, or if you can't quite touch the floor even with your knees bent, rest your hands on your ankles. And of course, this can be done in a chair as needed. Now reach around, gather, pulling back up. We're going to pull all the way up the front of the body, come over the head, around, creating a big circle in front of the heart, and then pulling energy in, and heart protection, hands onto the shoulders. Good, and brush down the arms and catch the energy at the lower dantian. Take the arm closest to the flower arrangement, reach up, gather, and continue to pull down. Adding a little bit of a landing here, just with this idea of the hand as it gets closer to earth getting heavier, and then finding a resting place in the opposite hand with a that's the way. And then draw the opposite arm up. Inhale, gathering spirit, calling spirit home into the body, feeling it meet the density, getting heavy, and landing in a safe spot. Rising, being held, being caught by that safety net below, always there, always ready to receive. One more on this side. Take that into the belly, around to the kidneys, stretch the kidneys, slide down the back of the legs, trace the meridians again. We'll do one more exercise called Gathering the Six Directions to make sure that we aren't leaving anything behind in terms of our practice, that we're really taking in everything that we've worked for. Roll the shoulders back now to really open up the heart, the lungs. Good, feel that expansion in the chest and let the arms come out to the side. So we're gathering to the right and to the left, and as we twist and turn our torso, rotating towards the flower arrangement, we're gathering from behind and in front, and then we're reaching up and pulling the hands towards each other, gathering from above, and then pulling it down back into the lower dantian. Wrapping it around, sliding down, back to the legs, calling the earth energy up and around. Trace those meridians, extend out, gathering right to left. Rotate in the opposite direction now towards the orchid, gathering front and back. Rise up, look up, reach up, gather from above, and bring it home to below, into the lower dantian. Think of that lower dantian. Dan means elixir or medicine. Is your medicine field. Hold. Good. And circulate back around the navel. Stirring it up, pressing it in, and seeing that energy center absorb this energy like a sponge. And take the hands again, rub them together, create some heat, and let's brush up the front of the neck and face, over the head and behind the neck, and continue that up the front, over and behind, up the front, around, and now I'll go across the opposite shoulder. Brush down the arms, shake out the arms, shake out the hands. Draw a big circle around the heart. Take the hand closest to the flower arrangement, bring it in. Take the opposite hand on top and stretch the top of the wrist. Pull the elbow back, stretch the underside of the wrist, pulling back on those fingers as they point down to the earth. Pull that elbow back once again, scrub the ribs, turn the fingers to point to heaven, push through, and bring it overhead, catching the fingers, pull over into a side bend, push down into earth, push up into heaven, bring the arms forward, catch a ball of energy, bring it to the heart, and back down to the lower dantian. Stretch the arms out. This time the hand closest to the orchid, rounding in first, pushing out from the heart, stretching the wrist. Pull the elbow back, scrub the ribs. So this is a movement towards liver. Pull back, fingers up, push. Keep coming. Curl the fingers, come back, pull to the side. Push down, push up. Bring the hands forward, catch a ball, collapse it, bring it to the heart. Turn it over and bring it down to the lower dantian. Good. Step the feet together. And we'll do bamboo in the wind, which is simply just to close your eyes and notice that even though we're in stillness, the closer the feet together, the better. The more challenging it'll be, but the more beneficial. If it's too challenging, meaning the balance, you're still working on your balance, then you can separate your feet a little wider. But if you're able, bring your feet together, close your eyes, and you'll feel an inner stirring, a movement like a little vortex of energy inside, circling in a particular direction. For me, it's clockwise. And you'll start to see your body reflect that inner movement, and you'll feel it in your ankles. You'll feel it in your core, engaging to keep you upright. And we want to imagine that we have our attention below our feet, deep into the earth as roots. Roots sink deep into the earth. The tree doesn't end at the trunk. It continues to go and reflect the as above, so below in the root system, and so does our energy. So we want to get in touch with the energy below the feet and above the head, and see our body floating in the center of a field. Our body is a core, like an apple core, in the center of a field of energy that's round. And our body is anchoring a field of energy on this earth. And that field of energy is our gift to the world. So tending it is our job, which is what we've just done. Now when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. And to create a little more stability, bend your knees. Pull the elbows back, turn the wrists to face me, separate the feet, create a fist with the right hand or the left, your choice. Your right hand represents your yang energy, your left hand represents your yin. So whichever energy you want to cultivate and build more strength in, create that, a fist for that energy, bring it to the heart to represent strength and courage. And then cover with the palm of the opposite hand, fingers together, bow forward in humility, respect, and appreciation for the mystery that brought us together. And thank you for coming. It was really lovely to